Hello dear students, I am Prabhat Dubey, your BST teacher from LPM Public School, Gola Bazar. And as in the first chapter of our BST, we were studying the economic and non-economic activities. So in the previous lecture, we discussed about all the economic activities like profession, employment and business. Any type of activity that is generating money for yourself to satisfy your basic need, want and demands. Now we will focus on non-economic activities. Any activity that you are performing just for your own entertainment, for helping someone or for getting psychological satisfaction, where no involvement of money is there. The end result is only satisfaction or social service. That activity is called non-economic activities. As in your book, the definition of non-economic activity that is mentioned on the page number 20 of your book, the activities which are undertaken by an individual with a motive of getting psychological satisfaction are known as non-economic activities. So motive means the factor that is making you perform certain activity, the ignition behind that, your inner urge. So the motivation is only psychological satisfaction. Okay, but any of the economic activity, the motive is generating money, earning profit. Okay, so as you know that any type of activity can be called money generating when it is generating money for you, and when you are just doing it for helping someone, for supporting your family, for satisfying your own basic need, then that activity is called non-economic activity. Like the farmers who are marginal farmers who are having a ownership of 1 to 2 acre land. Their land ownership is very small. They are called marginal farmers who are doing agriculture only to satisfy their own basic needs. All the produce that is being produced in their field, all the crops, all the vegetables, all the fruits that are being produced in their field is consumed by that person who is cultivating them or his family. He is not selling that produce in the market. Then that activity is called non-economic. But if the farmer is involved in selling that items in the market, he is generating money, then that activity is called economic activities. So different types of farmers are also available in our country because land holding is different. In some areas, the farmers are having large fields, 10 acre, 20 acre or 50 acre and above land is possessed by a single farmer. Then that farmer is producing goods to satisfy his own basic needs and he is selling the rest in the market. In our locality, in our vicinity, we can witness some of farmers like that who are also involved in commercial activity. But at majority, land holding is very low in basically in Uttar Pradesh. And in our district like Gorakhpur and Azamgarh, Mahu, land holding is very low. Only some farmers are having land above 5 or 10 acre. So you can understand, one more example is there, like a teacher who is teaching in any school or university. If he is teaching in professional manner in the school, he is getting salary for his teaching. But when that teacher is teaching his own brothers, sisters or daughter and son at home, then that activity is not generating money for him. That is only resulting in psychological satisfaction, as it is mentioned in the non-economic activities. So teaching is same, you are delivering the same fact and figure, same concept analysis is being discussed with the students, but at one moment it is generating money when you are teaching in a professional manner at any institution, educational institutions, school, college, university or any other platform. But if you are doing it at your home or you are teaching any poor student or in any NGO just for social service, then the ultimate result is what? Satisfaction that is psychological in nature. Then that activity is called non-economic activity. So I think the basic difference between economic and non-economic activity is clear to you all. In your book there is a comparative analysis, and that analysis is done on different parameters the difference between economic and non-economic activities. On what parameters you will find the difference between economic and non-economic activities? So the first parameter that is brought into consideration is motive. Motive is the thing which is making you do certain activity, the inspiration behind that, the thing that push you to do any specific activity. Like if you want to earn money, if you want to involve in any employment, the motive is just to earn money to support your family, to finance all your activities, to support your children, your brothers, sisters, your family for all type of their requirements. So motive is there. But behind the non-economic activities, what type of motive is there? The motive is social or psychological motive. Either you are involved in social service, if you are supporting anyone, if you are giving any lecture just for the development of the underprivileged class, like some scholars, professors and teachers are also involved in these type of activities to support the people who are living below the edge, who are not having proper money to start their own venture, to involve in any educational professional courses. So community development programs are there that are supported by government, NGOs, and also the person who are prosperous and who are devoted for social service or taking proper care of the underprivileged. You can witness different types of supporting activities to the poor and underprivileged in this corona period. Food, medicine, all type of sanitary requirements are being supplied by different groups. Government, NGOs and private companies are also offering different types of aids and supports. Like we witnessed that Tata is supporting Indian government for manufacturing oxygen cylinders to supply to the hospitals just to save the life of the patients who are fighting against corona. So such type of noble initiatives of business house, the leading MNCs and business families are very appreciable, because in this tough situation they are not chasing the profit motive only. They are supporting the society, they are providing help to the needy. That's the basic intention of any established business, because as you know that profit making is sole objective of any economic or non-economic institution if he is involved in earning money. Sometimes NGOs are also there, they are getting their finance from different supports, because as you know that any profit making or non-profit making institution is there, you have to provide salary to the employees. Each and every employee is not working there for social service. The person who are working in NGOs also need money. So all their finances came from supports, aids from government and private institutions. Okay, but the service or the product that is being offered by that NGO is not for profit making. It is free to the service of mankind. So in this way, the profit making and non-profit making organizations are controlled, managed and administered. So we will witness the difference. The second parameter is expectation. What is expectation from economic activity and what is the expectation from non-economic? Money income is expected from these activities. If you are involved in any economic activity, then there should be involvement of money. If you are doing any economic activity, it should result you in providing some economic support. Revenue should be generated from that. If revenue is not being generated from the economic activity, then it is of no use. You should not involve in any activity that is not making you attain any profit, or any economic support is not being provided from that. Then it is called non-economic activity. So the expectation from non-economic activity is what? Personal satisfaction, as we discussed in the first point. No monetary involvement is needed in that. Third one is purpose. What is the purpose behind economic and non-economic activity? The purpose outcome of all the economic activity is production of goods and services. As you know that if you are doing any business, The purpose is either to manufacture any goods or to provide any service. And in lieu of that, if you are selling the product in the market, you will generate money. And if you are providing service to any of your customer, it will also result you in earning money. Your revenue will be generated from that activity. Okay, so any company, any institution, any group who is involved in any business activity will either provide any product or provide any service to the customer. As you know that product is tangible but service is intangible. But there are different types of services that are required in making the product deliver to the customer, and after delivery, if there is any feedback, there is any service, because as you know that in automobile sector, in electronic sector, different types of grievances, different types of claims are to be handled by the company. So different types of teams are there that will be in contact with the customer after the sales. If you are not taking proper care of your customer, and if you are intending only to sell the product, then in the long run the image and prestige of the company will be compromised. Because if you want to associate the customers with you for long, then you have to address all their grievances in a very efficient manner. If grievance of customer is being neglected in any company, then in the long run the image of the company will be devastated. Okay, that's why grievance redressal mechanism, I'm writing that point, it is very important aspect of business management. Each and every business manager who is involved in customer satisfaction should take proper care of this grievance redressal mechanism. It is applied in government and private institutions. Both type of institutions should take proper care of any, you can witness this term, grievance redressal mechanism. This is very important phenomenon of business management or any administration. If your customer, if your clients are having any grievance and you are not providing them proper solution, then that grievance will weaken the bond between you and the company. If a doctor is not properly dealing with the patients, then the association between patient and doctor, the level of confidence is weakened, and it will result in detachment of customer with you. The customer will not like to come to you again. Okay, so grievance redressal mechanism ensures that any customer that is coming to our company, that is being in touch with us, who is the customer who is using our product and services, should always be loyal to us. Any of their issues should be resulted in very proper manner. That's why efficient business managers are appointed to take care of the grievance redressal mechanism. And the person who is dealing with any customer directly should need proper skills, communication skills, interpersonal understanding of human behavior, ethical management, psychological impact will also be analyzed. Okay, then only that officer, that manager can handle the grievance properly. The person who is not having proper knowledge of understanding human emotions, human feelings, cannot work efficiently in grievance redressal mechanism. That's why any business manager or any officer in government, if he is in direct touch with the customers, with the people, citizen of India, like any officer who is being appointed in customer handling, their voice, their tone, there should be a nobility in their character. Then only people will love in interacting with them. Any person who is rude, who is not talking well, who is impudent, will always result in grievance. The grievance will be more wider. Okay, that's why rude persons are not appointed to handle the customers directly. They are being appointed in any back office work. Okay, so I think this is clear to all of you, the purpose. What is the outcome? The outcome is production of goods and services, if you talk about economic activities. And in non-economic activities, the outcome of these activities is mental satisfaction only. There is no involvement of any goods and product. Even if you are offering any goods and services to the people without getting any money, then that activity is also called non-economic. You are doing social service like the CSR activities, corporate social responsibility, as we discussed during our starting lectures, that it is basic duty of any established corporate to support the society and the environment where they are in operation. So we will discuss the latter part, the concept and characteristics of business, in our next lecture, next video. Okay, thanks.